Good day and welcome to the channel. In this short video, we are going to explore something called dusk to dawn lights, but special ones. We're going to not only get a regular dusk to dawn light, which we'll explain in details in just a moment, we're also getting ones that have motion detectors built into the light bulb itself. So not into the fixture that you bolt on your wall. So this means you don't need any skill whatsoever to get a motion light. And the ones we chose are these. Well, I can't even pronounce this, but it's only got two vowels in it. That's a lot of consonants. So it's Axis Nymph, a motion LED light. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over this product, but it's really not about these particular bulbs. The video is intended to explore the concept, and we will actually review these, and we will tell you all about them, and we'll run a demonstration. But really what this video is about is trying to explain what to look for. So let's go over a couple of things first, the numbers, so you can understand what you're looking at, and then we'll unbox this and we will run a test. So let's go over the numbers. First thing, A19, that's the shape of the bulb. That's your standard light bulb shape. E26, what does that mean? That's your standard light bulb socket. That is pretty much universal. It's not everywhere in the world, but it's pretty close. The next thing is the number of watts. So this is a 10-watt LED bulb, like pretty much all bulbs are these days, and it says it's a 100-watt equivalent. Yeah, I don't think so. A normal 60-watt bulb is 7-watt sort of range, and I see 100-watt bulbs coming in somewhere around 13-watt. Oh, by the way, I'm not explaining this very well. When I'm saying watts here, I'm talking about incandescent watts, the old school light bulbs versus the new LED bulbs. So I think this is probably not quite 100, but it's going to be brighter than a regular 60 watt, and that's really all I cared about. The next number that's in here is the 3000K. So there are really three numbers for K that you care about, and it has to do with the color of the light. Most of them start at 2700K, that's most light bulbs. Then there's 3000K, pretty common as well. And then there's 5000. And yes, you could have any number in between. Those are the common, 2700, 3000, and 5000. 2700 is soft white. It's very similar to the old incandescent bulbs. I wanted something a little brighter, but not much. So this is what's called warm white at 3000K. You probably don't care. There's not a lot of difference. But I did. I wanted that little bit extra. It doesn't cost any extra either, so why not? And then there's 5000K, and you'll see those listed as daylight lights. And that's for good reason. It shows daylight. It's very, very harsh light. Now let's go over this particular bulb. So you can see here that this bulb is what's called a dusk to dawn bulb. And what that means is it has a light sensor in it, and this light will only work at night. So it'll only work when it's dark. So what you do is you screw this bulb into your socket, then you switch the light on, the switch on, and you walk away. You never turn it off. You think, well, that's a waste of electricity. No, it's not, because it's got this light sensor. It will only operate at night. And you think, well, I don't want to leave the light on all night. Well, that's the whole point of this particular bulb, which is the infrared. You can see here it's got an infrared motion sensor on the top of well, actually the bottom of the bulb. It will pick up motion between 8 and 16 feet away. And you can see that on these particular bulbs, and there are differences, but in these particular bulbs, they've actually put the sensor on the tip here. It's kind of a nipple. And that sensor lets it hang down, hopefully from the socket that it's in, so that it can peek out and see around, so that if something comes along, for instance, somebody walks along the sidewalk or whatever, it will turn on, again, if it's dark, and only if it's dark. So you can see here, daytime stays off. At nighttime, it turns on when there's motion, and it stays on for about 30 seconds after somebody's left. But if they're there, if they're staying there, the light stays on. This is a 4-pack. We can show you the box, but there's really nothing interesting on it. So let's just pop this out. We'll take one of these bulbs out. There we go. That's the bulb. Not all that exciting. It's a typical LED bulb, so that's plastic. You can't break it. You could throw it across the floor. It'd be just fine. There is the motion detector, and it will hang down, and hopefully it will hang out of the socket so that it can see around. Now, in my case, I wasn't sure if this would work, so I actually went and bought these guys here, and you take your bulb, you screw it into this socket, and then you take that socket and screw it in. So it just hangs down, and You can imagine it works just like that. Turns out I'm not going to need these. This is deep enough, or they're tall enough, I guess. Now let's go plug this in and see how this works. Now in my case, this is actually an incandescent bulb, which is, I think, 55 watts, 65 watts, something like that. And that is an expensive bulb, and this thing is freaking hot because it wastes most of its energy producing heat, not light. So the LED bulb will be a huge improvement. Here we go. Oh, it's not working. Yeah, it's because the light switch is turned off. Let's go turn the light switch on. Flip the light switch on, and let's see what happens. Boom, it just turns right on. So let's just let it sit. Okay, so I'm outside. Oh, one of the bulbs just turned off. And I'm standing still for 30 seconds. There we go. Now let's walk forward and see when this thing detects. Well, it's taken its sweet time. There it is. Okay, I wish that was a little better, but still works. And what about this one? Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's go back. These should stay on for 30 seconds. Yeah, well, I'm about 8 to 16 feet, but I'm certainly a few feet away from it. And it's going to do the job I want, which is to turn on whenever somebody gets close to the house. It'd be nice if it was a little further away, but it works. So, I think that's that. Hey, if you found this video useful, please give us the big thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. Subscribe's also appreciated. If you have any questions or concerns, you can get a hold of us directly at www.urtech.ca. That's www.urtech.ca. Or you can leave a question or comment below, and if we don't get back to you, somebody else will, because on YouTube, everybody's got an opinion. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye-bye.